Oh my god. Oh boy. Lama.
Homes wiped away, roads swallowed by raging floodwaters, bridges torn apart, entire livelihoods destroyed in a matter of minutes. And families left with just one question: where are our loved ones? The Nepal-China border has been hit by a devastating flash flood, leaving a trail of death and destruction across the Himalayan region. And while rescuers battle through the wreckage, social media has become another lifeline. Celebrities who were in the region, celebrities with loved ones and connections to Nepal, and those simply witnessing the tragedy, have been using their platforms to raise the alarm. Sadhguru is speaking about missing pilgrims. Manasi Parekh is sharing the terrifying visuals of the disaster she narrowly escaped. Sonu Sood is putting emergency numbers in front of families desperately looking for answers. Prabal Gurung is amplifying calls for help. And Manisha Koirala is standing with her homeland in its darkest hour. This is not just a disaster story. It is a story of lives interrupted, families separated, and a desperate search for those still missing. The catastrophe unfolded on August 26th. A massive landslide in the Himalayan region triggered a powerful surge of water, rock, ice, and sediment. The force was so intense that the event was initially mistaken for an earthquake. But what followed was far more devastating. The debris flow surged downstream, destroying infrastructure, cutting off communities, and leaving people with little or no warning. And then came the heartbreaking numbers. At least 165 people have been reported dead, while hundreds remain missing. Among them are local residents, workers, police personnel, and pilgrims traveling through the region. Then came the terrifying news. An Isha Foundation group of 77 pilgrims from 19 countries, along with 3 volunteers, was caught at the Girong Immigration Center when the disaster struck. Then, communication lines collapsed. The last communication with the group leader had come just minutes before contact was lost. Sadhguru later said that hundreds of his pilgrims had returned to safety, but the fate of those still missing remained a matter of grave concern. His foundation began coordinating with diplomatic missions and rescue teams as the search continued. And then came a post from actor Manasi Parekh, one that showed just how frighteningly close this disaster came. Manasi was part of the wider pilgrimage group. She later confirmed that she was safe inside a hotel in China, but the visuals she shared told another story. She shared CCTV footage of the floodwaters and debris violently sweeping through the Girong checkpoint. And then came the chilling detail. She was supposed to be there the very next morning. Instead, she watched the place transform into a disaster zone. She also shared visuals of the damaged Miteri Bridge and reflected on the overwhelming power of nature. The iconic Miteri Bridge was washed away. Multiple vehicle bridges were destroyed, hydropower projects were hit, and the Girong border crossing was buried under debris. The geography itself seemed to disappear beneath the floodwaters, and for families waiting for their loved ones, the uncertainty became unbearable. That is where Sonu Sood stepped in. He didn't just post a message of sympathy, he shared something families could actually use: emergency contact numbers issued by the Embassy of India in Kathmandu. For someone desperately trying to locate a missing relative, a phone number can become a lifeline. Sonu urged families who had lost contact with people traveling through the affected routes to use the emergency channels, and his social media platform suddenly became an information board for people searching for answers. Thousands of kilometers away, Nepali-American fashion designer Prabal Gurung was also using his platform to draw attention to the devastation. He shared aerial visuals of the affected region and amplified calls for relief and assistance. For Gurung, this was more than another international disaster making headlines. It was devastation unfolding in Nepal, a country he remains deeply connected to. And for Manisha Koirala, the tragedy struck at the heart of her homeland. The actor expressed her distress over the growing death toll, the missing pilgrims, and the devastation suffered by local communities. She also acknowledged the police, army personnel, and rescuers, those entering the disaster zone, while families wait anxiously for news. One tragedy, multiple voices. Sadhguru raising the alarm over missing pilgrims, Manasi Parekh showing how close she came to the disaster, Sonu Sood sharing emergency contacts, Prabal Gurung amplifying the call for help, and Manisha Koirala standing in solidarity with Nepal. Different posts, different messages, but the same underlying plea: don't let the missing be forgotten. Because these numbers are not just numbers. 165 dead, hundreds missing. Every number represents a person, a family, a home, a life interrupted without warning. And for those still missing, their families are living through the cruelest part of this tragedy: the waiting, the unanswered calls, the silence, the hope that the next phone call might finally bring good news. The floodwaters may eventually recede, the roads will eventually be rebuilt, the bridges will eventually rise again. But for the families waiting tonight, the disaster is far from over. Because while rescuers search through the wreckage and celebrities use their voices to keep the crisis in the spotlight, hundreds of families are still waiting for one thing: a name, a phone call, a sign that their loved one is still alive. And until those answers come, the search continues.
Oh my god! Oh boy! 拉嘛！过来，那个过来。